First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. Thank you for joining us. We are live here from our digital desk at the Fox 12 Oregon headquarters. And unfortunately, it's another day and another data breach, this being a big one that was announced today. For those of you who may be members of the Oregon Health Plan, your data may have been compromised via a third-party vendor. This information, there's a lot that came out about this. So it was through another company called Performance Health Technology, which has access to that data, and they are saying that up to 1.7 million members or people could have had their personal data accessed through that or taken. That's a lot of details right there. And so they've issued this press release about this, but what we wanted to do was bring on an expert to talk about this particular data breach, talk about what's going on. I was really thankful to get Pete Nicoletti on, who is the global CISO, which is, correct me if I'm, dang it, now I'm going to forget exactly what it is. CISO for Checkpoint. Pete, you're the expert. I'm going to have you explain your title for everybody.
Sure.
But also,
real simple.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real simple. Chief Information Security Officer. I'm one of the head security nerds here at a leading security equipment provider.
And yes, you are. And I appreciate you very much. And I know that you're on the road right now and able to call in here for this. So thank you for your time. So let's get to the bottom of this, though. So this Oregon Health Plan data breach, healthcare, information, personal information, a lot that could have been taken here. How does something like this happen?
Well, the healthcare organization replied on a third-party provider. It's called a supply chain risk, where you're not hosting things yourself. You're paying somebody else to protect critical information. This particular company reported a vulnerability back on June 15th. So this particular vulnerability was well known by security researchers and professionals. Our company had countermeasures for it the same day. Unfortunately, this hospital did not leverage appropriate countermeasures, and this breach was quite trivial to be done with this particular vulnerability. So it's very unfortunate, but there's going to be a lot of crying and sadness by the 1.7 million people, because it's not just identity theft to worry about here, Greg. If you want me to just jump right in.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so certainly the hospital is going to send out notices and saying, hey, we really, take your security very seriously, although that's quite an oxymoron statement right there. But beyond the monitoring, for your credit, the things that we're seeing with healthcare providers, and healthcare providers are the #1 targeted vertical in our recent studies. And the reason being is because of budget, lack of security professionals, and lack of the most advanced preventative tools. And they just are making mistakes, and mistakes, it's like when you're running away from the lion, you just have to be faster than the slowest guy. And right now, the slowest people is the vertical, the healthcare vertical. So the issues that we're going to see for the people that use this particular provider are beyond just identity theft. We worry about blackmail and hyper-targeted phishing. Once you know somebody's healthcare issues, you can now craft emails that either could be blackmail or extortion, or even worse, asking for additional money. Hey, the hackers know that you just had a procedure, you just had something. They can impersonate a billing agency and say, hey, you still owe us $150. And if they send it to 1.7 million people, guess what? A couple hundred people are going to pay. So the emails cost nothing to send out for the hackers. With the latest AI tools, we're seeing automated email creation, which is quite terrible, quite easy and effective. And for people that don't speak English, like probably, the Russians and the Koreans and the Chinese that are probably behind this, we're not sure yet. But, with ChatGPT, they're creating better crafted emails. So here's the thing. If you get one of these emails, let me tell your viewers, do not reply to that email. Call the healthcare provider directly. Do not assume that that particular email is from them. Assume that it's a phishing email and they're targeting you to take additional money from you.
So do not reply, no matter what. Give a call.
Don't pay. Do not exactly call the source, and don't call the phone number that they're providing. Because the really
Right.
smart ones are providing phone numbers and tech support, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we'll be able to help you." And there's call centers set up for people calling in to collect money. So if it's the healthcare provider that's asking for additional money, you call them directly. Or if you see any type of targeted email, report that to the authorities and to the healthcare provider as well, so that their forensic people, which are no doubt on scene right now, can add that to the list of crimes that these guys are doing.
That is so incredible. I mean, any kind of hacking like this and data breach and trying to get money out of people and scare them is always awful. But that just seems so sinister, using health information of what some of these people could do. That's particularly, I don't know, on the level of hacking. That's up there with the worst as far as I'm concerned.
Well, they don't have morals. Their goal is money, and they're after easy money. And corporations have pretty good tools to prevent this kind of thing. Of course, our customers have been protected from this since mid-June. But if you're not on top of it, you're not patching, you don't have preventative tools, this is what's going to happen. The same thing is happening to end users that don't have sophisticated corporate tools as well. Once again, if you get an Amazon email or if you get a bank email and it says, "Hey, you've got to click on this link," don't do it. Go directly to the source. We see it during Amazon Prime Day. We see it with banking emails. So it's very, very similar, but that type of an attack is trivial to do. And it only takes 1% of us to reply for them to make money. And that's exactly what's happening.
I remember we saw the same thing around tax season with fake IRS emails and things along those lines. So for somebody who, if you are a potential one, and I will say this, so the Oregon Health Plan said that they are going to be, or Oregon Health Authority, excuse me, said that they were going to be sending out letters to people that that they identified who may have had their information taken. So I guess you're supposed to look out for a letter that comes in the mail. But say that happens. Say you get one that says, your information was taken. What are some of the steps, I guess, that you can do, regardless of what they say, like on your own, to protect yourself?
Well, definitely sign up for the credit card protection program. Make sure that with credit cards, you're protected with the credit card, laws. Try not to don't pay anything with a debit card. Try to use a credit card because you've got 30 days to review your statement. Make sure you're reviewing your statements to make sure nothing funky happens. Check your Social Security to make sure nothing happens there. And then on the corporate side, that's where corporations can step up their game. And if you're using that application, move it. You better have a plan. But back to the end users. Hey, Checkpoint has a free security tool called Zone Alarm that you can download. So free. Go to zonealarm.com, download that tool, and that'll protect your computer from malware. That's another thing that the phishing guys are doing, is they're downloading malware that'll take over your computer. And then as you log into the bank, it'll take your banking credentials. So easy way to fix that. Free. Checkpoint has it. Zonealarm.com. Check it out. And then, of course, for the corporate customers, we've got a wide variety of solutions and consultants and people right in your backyard to help out.
Well, this is all some good advice on what to do. So don't click on the email if you're going to be getting one, if you do get one. So go call the direct source. Go to the direct source. Don't call the number that's on the email that's coming through, because that's one of the ways that they're going to be potentially phishing you. I guess.
One last thing, Greg.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is elder abuse in this area, where older people, your moms, your dads, they don't get this. They trust what comes in on email. If it's on the internet, it's true, right, Greg?
Right.
So what us Gen Z and Gen X, we need to help our older peers, because this is when these occur, older people are the ones that are really taken for it quickly. So reach out to your parents, reach out to other people. If you've got a little bit of a clue, help your colleagues, help your family, have a little family meeting. If you're part of this breach, have a little family meeting and discuss what you're going to do. And if anybody gets any information, make sure that somebody that's a little bit security savvy, is part of the program.
That's great advice. So reach out and yeah, help some people out, because that does seem to be typically, at least one of the most vulnerable areas that they go to, most vulnerable populations and demographics are, they're just not used to the technology and like you said, trusting.
They don't have high spider senses.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Yeah.
Their spider senses are a little bit low. They're a little bit behind the scene. They're behind the time. So, absolutely.
We'll help them out. And Pete, thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us too. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share with anybody. Please feel free if there's any other information you wanted to share with that.
Yeah, just like I said, help your peers and colleagues and family. Download Zone Alarm. Don't click on any links. Make sure that your computer is protected. Make sure it's backed up too, because that's another thing that happens when these phishing emails come out. You could potentially be held for personal ransomware, where they take over your computer and encrypt it and say, hey, we need some Bitcoin to decrypt it. So don't click on links, don't click on attachments. If it's and if it's not from somebody that you don't have a relationship for, delete it. Don't think you're a security researcher and you can click on it and deal with it. Just delete it, ignore it.
I like that. That is good advice. Well, Pete, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here with us, taking some time to talk about it and your expertise. And yeah, hopefully, well, I know this will happen again in some way, shape, or form. These things always happen.
Unfortunately, in fact, it's going up. We're seeing an uptick in this type of crime. We are losing the battle, Greg.
Well, be vigilant and follow some of the advice that you just gave us right there. Thanks
Yes,
so
sir.
much, Pete.
My pleasure.
And for everybody tuning in, thank you for being here, part of Fox 12 Now. Really appreciate that advice. So if you were one of those, if you get one of those letters in the mail, if you maybe are on the Oregon Health Plan, potentially hacked, had your information taken, play this maybe for somebody else that who could have been part of that. Definitely share this video and reach out to some of those people who are especially more vulnerable, like Pete was talking about. And thanks again, though, for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is our live streaming show that we have here every weekday. We're live at 1 p.m. Every day, but we also cover breaking news. We've been on and off broadcasting here since this morning, just with a lot of the stuff that's going on, and we want to make sure that we got you this information that was going on today about the Oregon Health Plan. For everything else that we talk about, you can always go to kptv.com. We've got our regular news broadcasts at noon and 4, so in between those hours, this is the place to go for breaking news and for coverage of all kinds of things. So I thank you for being a part of it. I'm going to sign off for right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.